Welcome back to a new episode of Weekly Chew. On today's show, we're going to show you how to make Where's the Beef? Stir fry? Let's take a look at the ingredients we'll be using today. Today, we're going to be needing steak, soy sauce, honey, garlic, ginger, green and red peppers, canned mushrooms, 2 onions, another garlic, celery, and broccoli. As well as cornstarch, salt, pepper, and finally some rice. Let's get started. We're going to start by cutting our steak into thin bite-sized strips, cutting against the grain. We do this just to make it easier to chew when it's cooked.
Against the grain?
Against.
We're using 3 top sirloin steaks, which will feed a family of 4 to 6 people with plenty of leftovers to spare. If you don't want to use as much, maybe cut it down to 2 steaks. 1 steak, yeah, it's kind of pushing it.
Top sirloin.
Yeah, that's already pretty tender though, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, tell them
It just, you don't want to marinate as long. I like to marinate a little longer.
What was that?
Meat, buddy.
silver skin there.
Take that off too when I do see it. It's so tough. Take the flavor too.
Now we're going to start on our marinade.
Okay.
For our marinade, we will need 1 big tablespoon
1 tablespoon
of honey.
I want that.
That's meat. You can have it after, but
No, the blocks. Look.
Next, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, a splash of water, and we're going to give this all a nice mix.
a bit of water. Mix that around.
After we've mixed our liquids, we're going to start with some ginger.
Yeah, we're going to get enough.
And for our marinade, we're only going to use half a ginger. We're going to peel it, and then we're going to dice it.
Just kind of lightly tight. I'm not going to cut it too. I'm going to be throwing this away after I.
Now we can add our ginger to the marinade. The last item for our marinade is going to be garlic, one of our most favorite ingredients.
A couple garlic cloves.
For the marinade, you're only going to need about 3 cloves of garlic. So, once again, we're going to skin our garlic, and then we're going to dice them.
Not familiar, folks? We've seen it on 3 of our shows.
Now for the marinade, you don't have to finely dice your garlic. This is all we're going to need to do for our garlic. Once we're done cutting, it's time to add it to the marinade and give it all a thorough mix.
Daddy.
Hmm?
We're going to want a nice amalgamation of flavors in this marinade. Once that's done, we're going to add it to our beef. Now, when mixing your marinade and your beef together, you want to make sure every bit of meat gets a little marinated. You got to be thorough with this part. Now, once we're done mixing, we're going to cover and refrigerate for about 2 hours. You could go a little longer if you needed to. You could always marinate your steak at lunchtime and have it ready for supper. Next, we're going to move on to our vegetables. And we're going to start with our green and red peppers. After we remove the core, we're going to chop them into nice big bite-sized pieces. After the peppers are done, we're going to chop our onions. Now, after we've removed the first layer, you don't have to chop your onion too small. We want nice big bite-sized pieces, so 3 or 4 chops is all you really need. Next, we're going to be using 2 celery stalks. After you've trimmed and washed them, we're going to thinly slice them. Our last veggie on the list is broccoli, and we're only going to use 1 bushel, cutting it down into bite-sized pieces. Now that the veggies are done and set aside, we're going to start by cooking our rice, mixing and covering.